Now, this might be the most important Jackie Chan release in years. But if you're a collector, is it really the definitive releases of these Jackie Chan movies? We're going to check this out. Now, Arrow Video recently announced their up-and-coming new 4K UHD box set of some of Jackie Chan's most influential movies of the 90s. They called it Jackie Chan's Breakout Hits. Now, what's inside this box set? It's 6 movies of Jackie Chan's in chronological order from that peak era of the 90s. So you've got Drunken Master 2, Rumble in the Bronx, Thunderbolt, Police Story 4 First Strike, Mr. Nice Guy, and Who Am I? Now, I've had to step out of my lane for this video. I don't normally dip into the world of boutique label, Blu-ray box set reviews, 4K reviews. I leave that to you experts out there. You do a grand job of all of that. You don't need me adding to the algorithm pile on that one. But I couldn't resist with this. This is really big news in the world of Jackie Chan, and I couldn't sit in my lane and not come across into the old middle lane of the motorway for this one. So here we are. Now, what I'm not going to do in this video is I'm not going to go through a full spec breakdown of everything that's included in the box set. I think everyone knows where you can get that information from if you want to see it. But what I do want to concentrate is some of the real significant things about this box set that could possibly make this the definitive Jackie Chan release. And it will be quite easy to overlook some of these features on this box set which make it really special for Jackie Chan collectors and Jackie Chan fans. Now, why is this era so important for Jackie Chan? Well, in the mid-90s, Jackie Chan broke into the American market and the international market. You could argue from a hardcore fan perspective, Jackie Chan was already a global superstar. I mean, there's no denying it. Even when I was a kid and I was first watching Jackie Chan films and seeing Jackie Chan on Channel 4 with Jonathan Ross, he was already the big daddy. In my eyes, he was already a global star. But I do accept that it was their mid-90s films from Rumble in the Bronx through to Rush Hour that made him more of a household name, a familiar name with people, especially in a sort of a Western territories. When I was at school, to start with, very few people knew who Jackie Chan was. And by the time I left school, pretty much everyone knew his name. These films are really significant for that reason. On paper, Jackie Chan's breakthrough hits looks like an absolute masterpiece. There's no denying. It's a fan's dream come true. I've literally dreamt of this day for so long happening. The thoughts of having Rumble in the Bronx, Police Story 4 First Strike, Thunderbolt, Who Am I on 4K, it's just been, it's been on the forefront of every Jackie Chan collector and fan's mind for a long time. We've all wanted them versions, the ultimate versions. But let's break it down now. Let's have a look and see, are they the definitive versions? Let's have a look. So the first thing to look from a collection standpoint is the covers and the cases. Now, Arrow Video have released 2 Jackie Chan box sets. There's what they call the web exclusive, which is a blue case. Then you've got the red version, which is the more common, widely available one, which would be available presumably in your retail outlets and stuff. Each of them have got their own unique artwork on the inner packaging of the films themselves, which is, from seeing it at a glance, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, that artwork that I can see, it looks incredible. It's ticking all them boxes. There's no denying it, Arrow. You're doing a great job. You're ticking all the boxes for sure, from what I can see. Now, on the inner sleeves of the cases, we probably can see about 85% of the artwork, because some of it is just obscured where the image shows it tucked beside each other, so you can't quite see the full 100% of the image. But from what you can see, I don't think much can go too wrong in the 15% that we can't see. So it looks absolutely cracking, and I really like, even between both sets, the artwork looks amazing on the inner sleeves. In terms of the front cover of the packaging, now, me personally, I prefer the red box rather than the blue box. And that's on the basis that I just prefer the image of Jackie Chan from Who Am I? Whereas the web exclusive box, the blue box set, they used a very standard generic image of Jackie from Rumble in the Bronx. The marketing promotional one used for New Line Cinema's Hollywood release of it. I've just seen that image too many times. What's also worth noting on these box sets is even if you're a hardcore pre-existing Jackie Chan fan, you've been a Jackie Chan fan for years, of course you are going to want to buy this set of films from Arrow Video. No question about it. If you like Jackie Chan, you're going to be swooping it up. I mean, that is a guarantee. But I also do think there is the potential of people that may not have even watched Jackie Chan, a younger generation, being tempted to check out this guy and such a nice presentation of movies. I really think, even if you're watching this and you're not a big Jackie Chan fan, or you don't really know too much about him, or you've never seen one of his films before, I think this is an excellent place to start. You cannot go wrong with this box set. And as for us pre-existing fans, I mean, this is mind blown, absolutely mind blown as to what Arrow have been able to achieve on this box set. Let's talk about a little bit of what makes this so special. It probably seems an easy answer because you'd probably think, well, why is this such a welcome box set? And the majority of you are going to think what some would consider the last great classic Jackie Chan films of the 90s era before the transition to Hollywood, etc. So for many, it's the last of an era of Chan and that particular style of movie. And the fact that these are now available in 4K UHD is an absolute selling point. And we're talking about them containing the original Hong Kong theatrical versions. That alone is enough. That is definitely, that's the selling point. That's what you're waiting for. And you can absolutely understand why everybody wants that. Is there anything else lurking in them features that you've seen that make this extra special? Now I'm going to pull out just a few of the things that are included that may get overlooked. So I'm going to start with the obvious. And everyone knows who watches any of my stuff is probably know what I'm going to say or follows any of my socials because I've been mentioning it for a long time. I've been hammering on social about an elusive dub for Rumble in the Bronx. And when I first started mentioning about this original English export dub many years ago, it was met with a lot of uncertainty and questioning as to whether it ever existed. Many people told me that I had imagined it, dreamed it, it didn't exist. But I've been persistent with my theory. I've done my own due diligence, done my own research over the years, and the first thing that always stood out in my mind was there's an export poster for Rumble in the Bronx. There's an original Golden Harvest export poster, not a New Line Cinema one, but a Golden Harvest one. Full English, Rumble in the Bronx, Jackie Chan. It had its own tagline, which was "This time the hero takes on the Bronx." Before New Line Cinema's "No fear, no stuntman, no equal." So in my mind, the cogs were already turning many years ago that, hang on a second, why have we got an export poster in English if they never got round to releasing it in English? It was swooped up by New Line Cinema and the rest was history. And the next point that I always observed was the font that was used on the title card for Rumble in the Bronx on the poster. It was the exact same font style that was used on the Drunken Master 2 export poster. Years ago, I did a little bit of research on all export dubbers, and there's a few periods in Jackie Chan's filmography where there are a couple of unknown dubbers for Chan's work on the original exports. Now, off the top of my head, without consulting my little list, which I haven't got to hand, is Winners and Sinners was one of them films where I can't find the name of the person that dubbed Jackie in the original export one. In the UK audiences, that would be on the VPT box. In the 90s, there was City Hunter, Crime Story, and Drunken Master 2. When you try and do some research, trying to find out who the actual dubbing artist was with it, I've just drawn blanks. I'm going to say Doug Stone. But it made sense. It was potentially the same dubbing artist that dubbed either Crime Story, City Hunter, and Drunken Master 2. Fast forward a few years, and I'd seen that Rumble in the Bronx had played in a theatre in America. And there was a review online about it, and they mentioned about it being English language version. It wasn't the New Line Cinema version. It started with the Golden Harvest symbol, original audio score, original music score. The soundtrack was the same as the Hong Kong cut. It was the Hong Kong cut, but it was in English language, and everyone had been redubbed in English, including all of the Western actors. Kyung, Jackie Chan's character, Kyung, was called Ken. So we knew it was out there somewhere. And ever since then, we've never been able to find it. It's the long lost English export dub. And to now have that is something really, really special on this box set. I just wanted to bring it up because I could easily go through the features and go, Cantonese audio, it's got Mandarin, it's got original English export dub, and then we've got the New Line Cinema version. It could be lost quite as easily. It could be so insignificant because most people think, oh, it's the English language version. It's the New Line English language version. This is where knowledge is power when you're talking about some of the specs on this thing, because it's really important to notice some of the stuff that Arrow have worked really hard to secure on this release. These aren't easy things to get, and we've seen it with previous releases by other boutique labels and that sometimes we're not always getting these dubs or these languages, these films. So for them to be able to achieve this is a really, really big thing. And me personally, really grateful Arrow Video for that. I'm still in shock, to be honest, that they've been able to find it. And what I would say actually is I think they probably should have blown their own trumpet a little bit more on that. Whilst I haven't seen the inside of the packaging yet, and we haven't read the inner booklet notes, because I'm sure they go into depth as well, but I can't help but thinking Arrow would have been good to shout about that a little bit on the box, where it's got, where they put the specs and they're right that it's original English export dub. I just think a little bit of a sentence about how rare that is to find, and a bit of the origins around that dub would have been good to see. Like I say, we haven't seen the finished product yet, so we don't know what's inside the booklet, and we don't know what's mentioned on audio commentary. So I'd like to think somewhere that that's given a little bit of, bit of justification and just why it's a good thing and how it's so rare. If it was Bruce Lee, the Big Boss, or a Bruce Lee film and it was an original English dub, we'd make references to why that was, a rare thing to have. So I just think I'd like to see that mentioned, a little bit of something on that, because it is big and I wouldn't want it to go unnoticed, so to speak. And if that wasn't enough, there's more. Let's talk about Police Story 4 First Strike. From what I've seen so far, I'm liking the look of things, because when you can see the spine of the box on the box set, I can see that they've listed it as Police Story 4 First Strike. Thank you so much, Arrow Video. That is all I've ever wanted to see for that film. And being the UK, that is the UK debut of it under its official original title. It could have easily have been Drunken Master 2, Rumble in the Bronx, Thunderbolt, Jackie Chan's First Strike, Mr. Nice Guy. But no, you haven't. I've seen the spine, and you've got Police Story 4 First Strike. That's a big thumbs up from me. It's them little touches. It's these little touches that make the difference, that adds that authenticity. And when you're looking at the overall big picture about whether something is definitive or not, you have to bring everything into play. All of that nostalgia, all of the integrity of the film, it all matters. And it matters on the packaging. And the fact that they've written Police Story 4 First Strike, yeah, I'm chuffed with that. I'm buzzing about seeing that on the spine. So that's really good. And when you look through the special features on the specs, it's got a US version where they've incorporated scenes from, I think it's the US television broadcasted version. And it was actually a bit longer than the cut down theatrical version. So we've got a few scenes reinstated, and it's also got the Jackie Chan New Line Cinema dubbing on them reinstated scenes. So that's really something to behold of. That's really good. Hard to find. That's a cracking discovery and easily missed. We've got to shout about these things. It's the little wins in life, and this is a little win. So I'm going to take that one. What else is there? Who Am I? Yes, brilliant Jackie Chan film. So good to have this on 4K UHD and just have it in a full uncut version. That's it, innit? I mean, it's Christmas Day. It's as good as life can get for Jackie Chan fans. It really is as good as life can get. And it gets better. Because again, I was going through the specs and what did I see? The making of documentary of Who Am I? People may be familiar with this because there was one part of it that was included on the old Universe Laser VCD set many years ago on some, and I think also on the German DVD releases and stuff. So we've been treated to that one episode. But I've mentioned before, It's one of a 3-part series, so it's an hour and a half in total, 90 minutes long, of cracking behind the scene footage of Who Am I. Really, really good. If you've not seen that yet, the full 90 minutes, you are in for an absolute treat. I like Jackie Chan doing all of his workout and stuff in it. You get some behind the scenes of him training with his training partners and stuff. It's really good watch. And Arrow have included this on their set. Now that is definitely a thumbs up. That's a rare, without this, your only chance of finding it is on the original Hong Kong VCD set, 3-part disc. Rare, but now it's been reinstalled on this. Just didn't want to go unnoticed to you fans out there, because it could be easily missed if you just, when there's so much specs and you just look through it, it's hard to see everything and sometimes you miss things. So that's something that's really, really good. Now, we've mentioned one of the main selling points of this complete box set series is that it contains the original Hong Kong theatrical versions of all of these movies. So you've got the uncut versions alongside any of the New Line Cinema or the re-edited westernised versions. They're all included, the full shebang. We've got it all. Now, Mr. Nice Guy, you've probably seen, if you've had a little perusal through the specs, that it says the original Hong Kong theatrical version, you've got the New Line Cinema version, and also the Japanese cut of the film. It would be easily forgotten to know about what the difference was between the Hong Kong theatrical cut and the Japanese theatrical cut of Mr. Nice Guy. You're not actually missing any action at all, but in the Japanese version, there's a scene where they're all having dinner. You've got Jackie, I was gonna say Jackie's character, well, he's Jackie in that, and you've got, I'm trying to think of the name now, Romeo, the copper, having dinner along with, is it Baggio, the dad, the chef, the cook, that Jackie does the thing? Jackie, Romeo, Baggio. All round a table, they're all having dinner and they're talking about Jackie being a cook and not a cop, and etc. There's a conversation dialogue there. It's a little bit longer in the Japanese version. We're talking about a minute or so's worth of footage, but it's all centered around that particular scene. Blink and you'd miss it. That is what the Japanese version consists of, in case you're wondering. Now, as we've mentioned, we haven't seen the finished product yet. So we're saying all of this about the release all in advance of actually getting our hands on it. But on paper, or on screen, should I say, it looks absolutely blinding. I just think Arrow deserve, a full round of applause for this. And they've really done a good job of trying to please us fans. And I am really grateful for that. Now, expectations, I'm expecting a really good box set. I absolutely love the Bruce Lee box set, the Golden Harvest Bruce Lee one from a couple of years ago, and I see this Jackie Chan one being a signature set of theirs, very much in keeping with the Bruce one. So my expectations are high, and I'm quite confident that I'm going to be pleased. I don't think there's any two ways about that. With this being some significant moments in Jackie Chan's career, I'm wondering where the audio commentary might go on some of them. It would be really nice to have some reference to some of these things that I'm speaking about on the commentary. And also, when it comes to First Strike, I'm secretly hoping, please, that whatever the audio commentary is on Police Story 4 First Strike, that there is a little bit of positive support about it being within the Police Story franchise series. Because very often than not, First Strike does get rained on quite heavily when it comes to it being a Police Story movie. We're very quick to say, it's hardly got anything to do with the series. It's not really a Police Story movie. Jackie's character isn't even called Kevin Chan. He's not called Kakul. He's Jackie. It's only Bill Tong in it that makes it a Police Story film, and he's only in it briefly. Blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. And what with the Jackie Chan's First Strike title and everything else. But if you do a little bit of looking, it isn't hard to see that it is still rooted in that franchise. It was always meant to be Police Story 4 First Strike. Whilst there's been varying titles that were considered for it, it was Police Story 4 First Strike. It was the 4th instalment. And I remember reading years ago that Maggie Cheung had been approached to carry on her role as May in it. But I think there was a dispute over her salary, potentially, if I'm not mistaken. And then not long afterwards, there was talk that there was going to be a Police Story 5. And I remember the plot line being something like Jackie's character was going to be injured on the line of duty and he was going to be hospitalised. And when he was in hospital, we'd be having flashbacks of all the previous things from the Police Story movies, and Maggie was going to be in that by his bedside, etc. That never came to fruition. But I remember reading that, and I don't know if that was in the Jackie Chan fan club back at the time. It was certainly somewhere that I read it quite a credible source at the time, but it didn't materialise. Yeah, if you look deep, there are connections to it being in the Police Story series. I said it before, the title sequence, it's got a 4 on it for a reason. It's got the 4 in the Chinese title characters. It's Police Story 4. The opening scene, everybody will say he's not called Kako in the movie. Do you know what? After all these years of being a Jackie fan, I can't say that name. Kako? Kevin Kaku. I am absolutely awful when it comes to pronunciations. Anyway, if you listen carefully, the first scene, the film starts in a briefing room. After the briefing, the scene cuts and Jackie's in the car with Bill Tong, and they're talking about the assignment, aren't they? Don't forget to bring me some caviar, that one. And when they're in the car, the first thing Uncle Bill says to Jackie, if you listen, is Kakul. But the subtitle reads Jackie. So there you go. Uncle Bill is calling him by his Police Story character's name. What happened is the rest got lost in translation. By the time this was signed up by New Line Cinema were desperately trying to keep this as its own entity for their own marketing reasons. You've got to remember, Super Cop was also released, Police Story 3 was also released as Super Cop. They'd just done Rumble in the Bronx and that. If you bring out a film, which I can understand from their perspective, they're going for a theatrical release and they chuck out a film called Police Story 4 First Strike in the cinema, aiming it at a Western audience, you're going to probably lose some bums in the seats because people will think, well, I won't see this film at the cinema because I didn't see Police Story 1, 2 or 3, so I'm probably not going to know what this is about. So they've kind of tried to make it its own entity, its own standoff film, Jackie Chan's First Strike. So I get it, but it hasn't helped the process along the line. And then when you dub him to Jackie all the way through the film, a lot of it gets lost. But the next moment, when he goes under on a submarine and he goes to get his mission, is it in Moscow, and he gets his letter assignment in the briefing room again about halfway through the film, and they said they've already spoken to his Hong Kong authorities and the Hong Kong police. If you pause, or your 4K, excellent quality, you've got no excuses not to check now. If you pause it, have a little zoom in on that letter it's showing, because it shows you it on the screen. Check out his name, check out the name of the mission, and you know what I'm chatting about. Anyway, I'm doing a lot of rambling about this. I'm just passionate because it's all about that integrity. And I'm just hoping when we talk about this film and we're giving it some, because the first time these films have had it's proper coverage. I'm just hoping that there's some mention about it rather than it ain't really a Police Story film. Be a little bit disappointed if that's the case. But anyway, now I think it's pretty clear to see this is, in my opinion, a definitive box set of these Jackie Chan films. But the word definitive also has a shelf life. But is there anything more we could ask for? What do you think? Do you think this is the most definitive box set there could be for these films? Or is there anything more you'd like to see? Or you think that Arrow have missed? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to have a little read, see what you all think. I think everyone's going to say that this is the absolute daddy of box sets. And I would agree with you. I think it's absolutely amazing. And it's a yes from me. And I am most definitely pre-ordering and getting this Jackie Chan goodness. But is there anything else we would want to see? Does this box set cover everything we could think of? Yeah, there's still more I'd want to see. Could that be? What could be left to see that Arrow have not been able to put on this box set? Well, when I first saw Rumble in the Bronx, I actually saw the Malaysian version. Again, I'm speaking upon my knowledge at this moment in time, so we haven't got the finished product here yet, but I don't think there was any mention of the Malaysian cut. Now, the Malaysian cut has got a few variations to some of the scenes in comparison to the Hong Kong theatrical. One of the biggest differences is the scene where the car park jump, just as Jackie gets the car aerial and whips Angelo's backside before he does the jump. In the Malaysian version, the character Angelo is wearing his black jeans and he keeps them pulled up. so he never reveals his buttocks. He keeps his jeans pulled up the whole time, and he bends over, and the camera shot shows, you know, showing your bum in a pair of jeans. And Jackie whips his bum with the jeans up. In all other versions, obviously Angelo pulls the jeans down and you see his rose tattoo on his butt cheek, and then Jackie whips the butt. But for the Malaysian audiences, I'm suspecting because they didn't like to show, you know, your rear backside. So that kept covered up. So that was the Malaysian cut. And there was also a few other slight variations in it, in and around the fight scene and the pool table and bits and bobs and the arcade machines. But I won't go into all of that. But ultimately, I'd like to see the Malaysian cut in 4K as well. So there is that one. Also, something else that's been I was going to say long lost, but I've never seen it at all. It had to have existed. All of these films had Hong Kong theatrical premieres. You know, they all showed in Hong Kong theatres. But to this day, I've never once seen an original Hong Kong theatrical trailer for Rumble in the Bronx, Police Story 4 First Strike, Thunderbolt. I haven't ever seen a Hong Kong trailer for them films, which blows my mind. Rumble in the Bronx was a massive hit in Hong Kong, and so was First Strike. From my memory, I'm sure Police Story 4 First Strike done really well in Hong Kong. But where are the theatrical trailers from? They're nowhere to be seen. I've never seen them. When I look, the only ones I've seen, I think, is a Taiwanese trailer and also the Japanese. So there's still some work to be done. If we can find them Hong Kong trailers, I'd love to see it. Now, another quick thing to mention as well was on Who Am I? Arrow have also included original English title cards for the opening sequence of it, which has got completely different credit sequences in the yellow font writing. Nice to include it, little export special, but it's nice to see that that's on there. So look out for that. And also on Rumble in the Bronx, it does say in the features that there's something on alternative scenes or something, alternate scenes. We don't know what's included on there. To me saying a lot of what I'm saying is just me thinking out loud at the moment, because we just don't know. We haven't got it in our possession and we haven't checked it out. But there is something about alternate scenes. I don't know whether that's going to be images or whether that's going to be, you know, perhaps it's going to have the Malaysian scene bit where, you know, Angelo's trousers are up. Perhaps that will be part of the alternate footage. But also we do know with Rumble, there is some question as to whether there's some deleted scenes or whether they're just photo images. But there's some scenes that have been doing the rounds over the years of Jackie jumping off of Bill Tung's little pickup truck. And it looks like it would be at the beginning of the movie because they're all in the same clothes that they meet at the beginning in Bill's truck. And it's got a scene where Jackie's like jumping over the truck. We've never seen that. Again, perhaps this box set will offer us a little bit of explanation about that scene. Who knows? Perhaps there's a little hidden scene included somewhere. We'll get back to you on that one and we'll see what the score is. But in summary, I think this is a really, really, really exciting year to be a Jackie Chan fan. Of course, nothing is ever going to replace some of my original formats. My very first Malaysian tape, my laser discs, all of that stuff has its own place in my nostalgic history. But I think this box set by Arrow is quite likely the definitive box set release of these movies. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. But don't forget, if you do like this Jackie Chan content, don't be shy. You can give it a little like, a subscribe if you want to, and a share. I'd really appreciate that. And just help keep this channel moving in a steady direction. And I'll see you all in the attic very soon. Over and out.